Let him know that. And you see Jerry, you see the picture there where he's grabbing him like men feel that. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how strong you may be. And that's what he is to the Dallas Cowboys. And that's why that Cowboy Nation is such is richness in culture simply because of his investment, right? You don't see a lot of owners doing that. You don't see a lot of owners always down there on the sidelines, always in their player space, always rooting them on. But when you do have that, and he is like another player, like another father, like another coach, then it starts to spread throughout that. And then people say, the best place to play is Dallas Cowboys. You want to play for Jerry Jones. Right. And so the many times I had conversations with him, we always joke about that. I spoke to the Cowboys last year. And so we always kind of joke about that. But honestly, for me, I had two of the best owners probably you can ever have, which is Art Modell, rest in peace. And to have Steve Bisciotti come in after him, you know, I feel the same way Dez feel, you know, about his owners. Like I could never see myself playing with another owner. But congratulations.
But is there any reason you wouldn't have been a good fit with Jerry, just hypothetically?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't have been a good fit with Jerry because I don't think I would look good in blue and white.
Okay, fair enough.
I get why they like Jerry, and Dad spoke about it. He gave me so many opportunities, and when people were counting me out, Jerry was counting me in. I love Jerry. He's great. Yeah. He's funny to be around. He's a great guy. But for me, I love structure. I love discipline, and I'm a big accountability guy. And I don't want nobody's time is more important than mine. If you start messing up, either they need to put some type of punishment so you get the message, or you need to move on. That's just the way I operate. I operate like that in my personal life. And so I came in under Dan Reeves and Mr. Bolin. Dan was Tom Landry's disciple. You know how buttoned up and structured he was. And Mr. B, what I liked him, and I only had two owners. I had Mr. Bolin for 12 years, had Art Modell for 2. The thing that I like most about them is that if the players and coaches did the heavy lifting, they should get the majority of the credit. They never wanted to be a part of the storyline. Well, Jerry is always a part of the storyline. And so if we're going to heap praise and kudos on him for building a champion, do we take some of those bricks off for destroying that championship also? Because if Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel and we rave about it, and then 2 years later he paints over it, what are we saying? Because that's what Jerry did now. I love it. Great. Been great for the NFL. He built that dynasty, but he tore it down before it was ready to come down. Mr. Bolin deserved, because let me put it in this context. Mr. Bolin has more Super Bowl appearances than losing seasons. Art Modell, the CBA, the players and the owners.
I got you.
He did that. Monday Night Football. He did that. He's the only owner, Skip, that had to leave the colors and the records in the city in which he vacated. Now, in the middle of the night, Jim Irsay left Baltimore, and he took his colors and the records with him to Indy. Al Davis went from Oakland to L.A., back to Oakland, and he sued the NFL. The Rams, they were in L.A., they were in Anaheim, and St. Louis. Now they're back here. The Arizona Cardinals. Everybody's moved. And what the writers are doing to Art Modell is not called for. They're holding that against him because he saw Jacobs Field get built. He saw the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Gun Arena. He's like, well, hold on, guys. This place is leaking and the toilets are overflooding. It was a dump. I played there. So I know. Mr. Bolin and Mr. B, and Art Modell deserve. Jerry deserves to be I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be skipped, because he does. But I would have had a hard time because I like structure and discipline. I like the fact that he protects his players, that he has their back. But I want players to have some accountability. And at some point in time, I want you to stop having their back. You can still have their back, but have their backs on another team.
Absolutely.
So, big picture, help me out here. Of this year's inductees into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, who is the biggest lightning rod, the most popular figure, the one that everybody's waiting for his
Jerry
Jones. Do you believe in that? You believe in that?
I do.
Kurt Warner, Terrell Davis,
LT, LaDainian Tomlinson,
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
Wow.
So, as you know, I spent maybe too much time around Jerry, and I told you many times, I can't help not just like him, I love the guy, because his heart is real and it's big and it's good. And he truly loves those players to a fault. But he truly loves them. He does not he can be a ruthless businessman, but when it comes to player relations, It's authentic, legit. I care about you as a man. And they know it to a fault because every once in a while they need a little tough love. You know this, and you definitely know this.
Yes.
You need the father figure to be a disciplinarian, and Jerry does not have that in his system. He doesn't think that way.
Right.
And let me make one quick point that has always astounded me about Jerry Jones. He's not some non-athletic tech nerd who made $1 billion and bought the Dallas Cowboys. People forget he was a starter for a national championship team at the University of Arkansas, a starter, and he never talks about it. Most people think he comes across as a jock sniffer, you know, as a guy who wants to buddy up with Dez and be around Zeke and Dak, you know what I mean, like to hang with the players, like he's a wannabe, a frustrated. He never talks about his college career. Not once. I've interviewed him for literally hundreds of hours for 3 books that I wrote. Not once did he ever suddenly volunteer. Back in '64, we were playing Texas, and I pulled and I pancaked the left defensive end, and we broke it 70 yards. He never talks about his college career. And yet he comes across like, I want to be part of this, you know, like, but he was. But
He was a starter on
that's
the.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people.
It could be hard to talk about that when you've achieved so much.
Okay.
on
All right.
the
All right.
second and third
So,
level.
so
That's
here's,
Interesting, though.
Skip,
That's a good
you
point.
know what,
Yeah.
Skip? But you know why he doesn't talk about that? Because that's not his crown achievement.
That's what I mean.
okay,
That's what
I
said.
got it.
Yeah.
I got it. But he did contribute early to this crowning achievement.
Yeah.
He, as he used to say, Al Davis taught him to coach the coach. And he coached Jimmy. He sort of kept an emotional thunderstorm that could be Jimmy Johnson kind of barely in bounds and said, let's hold it back here. And he did pull off that trade for Charles Haley that put them over the top into Super Bowls that should have been 4 in a row. But he couldn't live with Jimmy, and he fired him after 2, and you know the rest of the story. And then you definitely know the rest of the story after the '95 Super Bowl, the last one, because over the next 21 years, they missed the playoffs 12 times. America's team missed the playoffs 12 times. And in those 21 years, their record in the postseason is 3-9, never got past the divisional round. It's not great, man.
Yeah.
So he contributed mightily to losing with a lot of puppet coaches and a lot of lack of discipline off the field because he loved his players to a fault. So when I heard Dez, I have mixed emotions because I cringe because everything Dez just said, nobody on earth is better than Jerry Jones, is part of why Dez has had some problems. Part of.
You know, he got his back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like anything. If you're a parent and you don't discipline your children or you reward them, if a kid go in the grocery store and he throws a tantrum and you give him candy or ice cream, why would he ever stop that? So if I do something wrong and I know my boss of all bosses got my back, or I can circumvent my position coach, head coach, and go straight to him.
Too many times.
What's to stop me from doing what?
That is correct.
Because Jerry looks at it, as he said, risk reward. I will take the ultimate risk if it's going to pay me off the ultimate reward.
Right.
And that's how he looks at it. But Skip, what we can't understand, he released Larry Allen, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, and Troy Aikman, and they're devout about Jerry.
They are.
He spoke at every...
Devout is a good word.
Skip. He was their presenter. All of their presenters. It was like the Raiders. All the Raiders that win, I think, before Marcus, Al Davis spoke on their behalf. That's what they think of him. Because that's the ultimate homage, is that in your crowning achievement, this is what we call football heaven.
Yeah.
This is the Mecca. Because we're asking a lot of men and women that didn't play football to say, we think what you did on the field was worthy to go to Valhalla.
Yeah.
And the person that you're going to ask to present you for the world, your last crowning professional achievement in the sport, that's it. That's big.
It's big.
Yeah, definitely when you trade it. But just think about this. Those guys that he let go, we all understand this. At the end of the day, it's still a business.
Yeah.
Right, a 100% business. But the love that he showed those guys while they were there, it's without question. And so whether we just put him and make him a bad guy because all he does is express love.
No, I don't think he's a bad guy.
Right.
But he's one of these dads. Oh, my dad's my best friend.
Right.
no, I'm dad. I ain't your best friend. Your homeboy's your best friend.
And since 1995, Jerry Jones has never had a Ray Lewis or a Shannon Sharp who took over his locker room and became that sort of father figure to the young players, that disciplinarian who said no to the young players. He's never had that since. Seriously.
Right.
So in other words, basically, we can look at Jerry and says he had a Gale Sayers career. 7 great years. Yeah. Because if you look at it, he bought the team in 88, in 95,
89,
89, excuse me, because Michael Irvin came
3 and 13,
right.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 89 to 95, Skip. I mean, but since then,
95,
there are like 22 teams that have more players.
Yeah, that was my last year of college, 95.
Oh, wow.
Nah, you ain't even go to college. You was just attending school.
Hey, stop playing, Shay.
Whoa.
He was
Ain't
just
nobody be playing with you, man.
That was,
you know, that's so disrespectful.
That's
so just attending school. Just take it. Just go into class, eating lunch.
And what were you doing at Savannah?
Man, I got them good grades.
Shay, your grade point average was what when you graduated? I graduated with a 3.6. Honda? Honda, when the last time you rode one?
But you were 35 when you graduated. I graduated as a 21-year-old. He went back to school.
I went back.
Big old grown man up there with kids.
I went back in 2004. Stop playing.
It doesn't matter when you finish. You got the
He in there. He's 35 and there was 17, 18-year-olds.
At least that's hard to do.
Don't listen to him.
Who that is that? Oh, that's rape.
Okay.
He did it?
I don't care.
At least he
did. He did. I'm proud of him.
And thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
I'm so proud of him.
We all saw that. Thank you. And Hall of Fame, it's going to be Saturday, that ceremony coming up next.
I'm leaving Wednesday.
We're going to have a special guest from the Hall of Fame. Let's maybe guess who that'll be. And we're going to chat a little bit later. We'll be right back.
Who is it?
Exactly. So wait and see.